This is the Night Wolf howling at you, and today we're taking a look at the Transformers Age of the Primes Quickstrike figure. This guy originally made his appearance in the Beast Wars series. On the front, we get some nice artwork of him in his Fuzzor Beast mode, which is, of course, a scorpion mixed with a cobra. On the side, we get some artwork of him in robot mode. On the other side, we get some more of the Primes, which, as you know, I just don't care that much about. And on the back, we see product shots, which kind of look more like renders than actual products, but, you know, whatever. But let's go ahead and open this sucker up, shall we? I seem to have lost my plastic first. So it's a bit unfortunate to mention that I tried to look for my original Quickstrike figure from Beast Wars back in the day, and I could not find him. Not to say I don't have him, I probably do. I just couldn't find him in the box, and it was freaking cold because it's in storage, and the storage is not heated. That being said, let's take a look at this version. I kind of can't help but think that if this guy had been produced a couple years ago, we actually would have gotten some more joints in the legs, hand here. I will say, the one thing is, this hand has always made me think of the face huggers from Alien. It's also quite possibly one of the dumbest hands ever. When with the lack of extra articulation in it, it really doesn't do much. I mean, I suppose it could hold a figure decently enough, especially like a G.I. Joe figure or something. Which, technically speaking, Beast Wars Transformers are probably roughly human-sized. I believe the height on Rat Trap in robot mode is supposed to be like 5 feet tall. And as you know, like Optimus Primal, Megatron, and them, they're all like actual creature-sized, or supposed to be. I mean, yeah, some of the Transformers are bigger than what they should be, but other ones are not. That being said, let's take a look at this dude's articulation. Well, yeah, let's just go ahead and look at the articulation first. Head spins. There is a hinge here, it looks like. Yeah, there's a transformation hinge right there. So that's giving us kind of like that forward movement. His head is, it seems, on a ball joint of some sort, but it's very hard to move. But we do get a little bit of a nod there. And then, of course, if we push it forward, we can look down. This arm has lots of articulation, but first let's do the spin up. Gets caught up by that. However, you can move it out like that if you want. And totally flipped it around. So there's a lot of movement in this one. This arm, on the other hand, moves up and around. Has a bicep cut. Technically no bicep cut over here, but there are ball joints there, so that works like a bicep cut. And then a single elbow, and that's it. Well, the hand opens and closes too, but that's also part of the transformation. Although there is a spot to stick something. But each one of these little joints in the snake body do move. And it looks like it. Good Lord. There we go. The mouth opens, and there is a little peg thing here, like, if you can see that you should be able to peg something into, you know? A blast effect of some sort. And we know the Transformer blast effects have a bunch of different sizes, so yeah, probably something would fit in there. And then we've got a little port here also for an effect or equipment. He does have a waist swivel. His butt gets in the way there. And we can do a 360, but again, you have to move the butt out of the way. Legs go fully out, fully forward, and fully back, again, with the butt kind of getting in the way. Go raise this up a little bit more. I don't know. Sorry if I cut some of that off. So then we have a thigh cut here with the swivel right there. We do have a knee joint. Whoa. Goes really far down. We do get an ankle rocker, although this also helps with transformation. The foot does kind of open and close because it is his claws. Interestingly enough, it does kind of look like a little face there too. So like, honestly, his claw kind of looks like a dinosaur head. All right, so now that we got all that taken care of, we'll transform him in just a moment, but I mean, they did do at least a fairly decent job with the deco on this guy too. Now the question is, how does he transform? Because this guy is definitely beefier and bulkier than the original toy, but the concept should still be mostly the same. So first, this front should pop down. There we go, based on the design. And the head should swing into there. Then it looks like... Huh. Well, hold on. These things move. But how do they move? Oh, okay, there's an extra hinge up here. So somehow I have to be able to push this up and around here, it looks like. There we go. Like that. That is not easy to do. Because we've got these bits here that have to swing around as well. But let's see. I already feel like I'm missing something here with this transformation because these arm pieces are definitely in the way. They move, but they don't come out. And realistically, this shouldn't be that hard to do, okay? Because this has to fold up in there. It's just, these things here are like freaking totally in the way. Okay, okay, hold on. Push that all the way down. Can we do that on this side too? No, no we can't. Oh, fudge. I am already screwed on this one. Man, what the f***? Head goes down, head goes up. Wait, these things... Okay, hold on. All right, that popped out just fine. There we go. That was stuck in there big time. Okay, so now that we can move that out of the way like so. Move his little tail thingy back. Now we can open that up. Looks like these things slide back over there like that. Throw that out of the way because it pisses me off. Bend the legs into place here. This would move forward into there. Oh, this is super, super obnoxious. Okay. Oh, that doesn't turn. Oh, shit. All right. Let's turn the legs around here a bit more. Oh, it still puts that ugly-ass part up front. The next... Wait. I think that is... God damn it. All right. So we got that back that way. This is such a mess. This is why the other guys all read the instructions first and practice transforming a few times. I wonder if we turn these around. Yeah, okay. Because it looks like... I think these little tabs are supposed to plug into something up here. Or do they plug into the back? God. Turn it around. No, that's got to be the back. This has to go on here like this, because that's the only way that it makes sense. But I'm trying to figure out where those two tabs go in. Right, because there we go. Let's see. It goes into there. That doesn't go in anything. God dang it. Does it go like this? That can't be right. Okay, so actually, so that, if I was really looking at that right, maybe this goes like this? Well, no. Okay, maybe that, yeah, okay. So maybe the arm goes that way, and then this goes this way. And do those things peg in there like that? I don't see an instruction for that part. It seems kind of weird to me that he's like propped up like this. Well, those things came out of place again. So how the... Because if we look at this, the three that are together, those are all up front. That part's right. Then that just opens up. But see, the part that doesn't make any sense to me is this right here. This little tab here. Because it looks like it's designed to plug into something. But they don't show any specific spot it plugs into. Because it looks like right now I've got the arm perfectly seated. And then you open those up. And those two little tabs are just sitting right here. Is that what they're supposed to do? Is just sit right there like that? And then, well, then look how high the friggin' legs are. Is that how tall it's supposed to be? Because that doesn't look right either, because the feet aren't touching the bottom. So when it's like this apart, all the feet touch. And I guess they look like they kind of do slide in there right there. They're just not in there. Okay, fine. We'll go with that. Okay. That took longer than it should have. What I also can't quite figure out here is how to twist all this stuff so it looks good. Because, like, usually with these kind of figures, well, this would be twisted like that. But there's not a second joint here to twist the arm. So it's really hard to like position this in anything that looks natural. I mean, not that a Scorpion Cobra is natural to start with, mind you, but still. But in the beast mode here, you know, obviously the claws open and close since they were just the feet. You still have you can still move the wrist up and down here. There's no like swivel up on that part though. You can spin this a little bit and this a little bit and move this in and out. You can kind of like get a slightly wider base, but the feet get in the way. Nothing else really moves except for the tail, which has the same jointing as the arm. However, it's kind of funny because looking at it like this, like he can't really strike with his tail, at least not in the toy form, because he doesn't go further than the head, which is kind of dumb. Because like even in Scorponok, the tail would go forward enough to actually be able to attack with. But what do you think about that? Okay, so the overall here on this Scorponok is that I think his robot mode is quite possibly the best form out of the two. I guess technically the Scorpion Cobra mode doesn't look too bad overall. It's just kind of wonky when you get right down to it. And of course, the head isn't really long enough for it to be useful. The snake head, that is. But his robot mode does look good. He's definitely a beefier figure than the original toy was. I do remember that much. I wish I could have found it to show a comparison with, but since I couldn't, I can't. That being said, I do think he's a pretty nice toy overall, at least in robot mode again. I didn't really care for some of the ways the leg went in there. I thought that looked pretty awful. The transformation's kind of difficult because of those shoulder pauldrons. Because that one on the snake side does not want to move at all like it's supposed to. But as far as your Beast Wars shelf go, I think this would look good. The one problem with this is that Quickstrike in the day was like a core class sized figure, or I think they called it basic back then, which was still bigger than core class, but smaller than deluxe. And the problem with that is you got a character like Scorponok who was taller than, say, Quickstrike here, and actually was one of the taller figures, and in the show was put out as a deluxe and is actually very short compared to now Quickstrike here. In fact, when you get right down to it, Quickstrike probably should be around Rat Trap size, I think. So as far as continuity of size goes, which I would say overall they've done a fairly decent job of that with the Beast Wars figures up until now. This guy is too big. He's just too tall to fit in with the rest of your Beast Wars figures that they've put out recently. Which is kind of like an odd statement to say because usually stuff has been getting smaller and smaller, you know what I mean? But he looks good, and it would be nice to add to the shelf. It's just, he's going to stand out just for his height compared to everybody else, I think. But why don't you guys let me know what you think of this guy in the comments below, and if you're interested in getting him, and if you like the Beast Wars. Did you like his character at all in Beast Wars? Because he was kind of annoying. If you did enjoy this review and look at it, and all the problems I had trying to transform this character, please feel free to smash that like button. And as always, if you want to hear more of my nonsense in the future, you can subscribe. It would be greatly appreciated. I was hoping to hit 750 on YouTube this year, but I don't think I'm going to. Well, I guess I'm not that interesting. I also don't do a lot of shorts. Although this year I did do a whole advent calendar, so nobody's watching that one. Thanks for watching. Peace and love.